So theoretically, he's had a couple of weeks, Ruben Amorim, but in practice, he's probably had a couple of days with all the players available to him. We need to talk about the system. We need to get that out of the way because there's I believe he likes a flying wing back. I don't know. Look, we know that that's how he wants it. We know this 3-4-3 is what he wants to do, and that's how he's going to start, and that's how he's going to carry on. And actually, it's where the first goal came from. And it, it may not have been the cleanest of contacts from Ahmad to kind of get the ball in, but it worked, and it ended up in a goal. Yeah, so it was working. But when you look at that Manchester United game, that Manchester United performance, can you see the size of the task maybe that Amorim has in front of him?
Yeah, and to be honest, the way they started, how it looked, and even without the ball, it looked more structured. It didn't look as easy to get through them. The wing back, obviously Ahmad scoring the goal like he did, just kind of cemented that is what he probably wants. But it did feel a little bit more in control. But again, it still came down to Onana making 2 saves. Otherwise, it could have been totally different. And the headlines this morning could have been different for him. But what I like about what he says is how it's not results that's going to change. It's the performances at the moment. And you've got to be patient, Man United fans, simply because we can see that with the performances and the players, what he's going to probably get, this will work for him. It will work. And it's the performances what's important. Not because he said something like, you can get the same results next year, but if we've not improved what we're doing, then what we're going to be in the same place. And it's brilliant.
Can I ask you a question? Bruce Rioch, you played under him. Arsene Wenger comes in after. How does Arsene Wenger lift the morale of a disillusioned group of players? Because it seems to me that's what he's got to do, give them confidence and give them belief again. Well,
with Arsene Wenger, the sessions and everything that came with him, the way it was so transformative, it was exciting. The training was more exciting. It wasn't so... It was more controlled and more speaking about things and why you've got to do this. And it kind of opened your mind up to different things and how he wanted you to play it. And he was so complimentary about everything that everybody felt so good. Everybody felt so good with what we were doing, and we knew we were taking the right supplements and that. And then as time was going by, you could see it was just coming. Remember Patrick came in and then Manny came in. It just kept getting better. Dennis had great players to play with, and it just got better. And that is what I feel was going to happen. You saw it yesterday in the way that they set up and how solid it looked. But Ipswich are an unbelievably good pressing team at Portman Road, especially if you've got your goalkeeper that deep playing out from the back. You're almost calling them on to put the pressure on. I thought Man United should have done that and the goalkeeper should have came out to start playing it.
But you talking about the players you've had at Arsenal, right? And this is my biggest thing. I love Ruben. You talk about Man United, beloved Man United fan, but I think he's got this aura about him that I think Manchester United under Erik ten Hag, no one knew the philosophy, the structure after 3 years. And I think what we're seeing, he's not going to take any prisoners from no one. After the game, he's talking about, I just want to be with my players. And I think the problem is he has this system. He's not revolutionising football, 3-4-3. Other teams do it.
But it's all we've had to talk about.
No, and that's fine. It's true. Similar to Ralph Rangnick, 4-1, like, what, But the point is, what I love about Ruben Amorim...
I wish I'd never mentioned it.
He did, because he's not doing it. He's not doing anything revolutionary. But what I'm seeing, he has... Ahmad playing out full-back. Like, it's not something Man United fans thought was going to happen. But I think... we won't see Casemiro and Eriksen in the midfield after Christmas. We won't see that. Obviously, Kobe's nursing an injury. He'll have different types of players come in that fit his system because those players, honestly, are nowhere near the levels of Manchester United Football Club, and about 70% of them haven't been for a long time. I think Ruben Amorim will demand from the players high demands, and I think that's been missing from Manchester United.
Can I say something, though, in respect to Bruno Fernandes? He's going to be even better. He's going to be unbelievable in this. So even seen in flashes yesterday in where he was picking the ball up from and the options he had. I'm telling you, it's once he gets the right players, Kels, I think we're going to see something. And he's just so cool. He's got there's a natural mystic going through the year with him.
I haven't been this excited about Manchester United manager since probably Sir Alex Ferguson left.
So
it's a feeling that Man United fans, I think, have. And I think, even said, I'm not happy because we didn't win. I don't want to hear managers say, you don't have to, slate the team or anything, but just say it wasn't good enough and we'd be better the next game. Don't say, like Erik ten Hag will come out and say, I thought we played well today, when you just got battered by Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? There's standards at Manchester United, every club, and there's non-negotiables. Work rate, that was missing. Van Nistelrooy brought that back, and even did it in his matchday programme. He was talking about these things.
Second lowest running stats for Man United yesterday, all season. So the work rate might not be where Amorim wants it to be. I know you can't...
It will be, though.
There's running
He
in
won't
them,
have
there's
it.
running with purpose, isn't there? But
it's only days he's been with them as well.
I know. It's one game. And
He won't have it, though, Kel.
No.
That's the difference. I feel like he has standards that the players, if you don't, get to where he needs, they won't be there.
But the other interesting thing that and he was very interesting afterwards. He was very sort of thoughtful and considered in what he said. But the other thing was how much the players were thinking. So when I looked at them on the pitch, he said there were times when they were hesitating because they go, where do I need to be? Where does he want me to go? And they were sort of processing that information.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine, Kels? Once because they've not trained a lot with how he wants to do it. When they continue to train, because they're thinking about what he wants to do now. I saw Casemiro, when people weren't passing it forward quick enough, he was kind of shouting at them. Once they get it, and it's not thinking, once it happens naturally, that's when Man United are going to be a real force. They're going to it's going to be a real problem.
Sport shows all the time, different sports, players who lose their confidence, lose their way. They never lose the ability, they just lose the confidence in the ability. And I think that's what's happened at Manchester United. I think there are precedents for... And I'm always a fan of when a manager comes in and improves the squad that's already there, as opposed to bringing in quality. We saw that with Unai Emery at Aston Villa when he took over from Steven Gerrard in the Premier League. And he got them to believe in themselves and he got them to do the simple things well. And we've seen that Jurgen Klopp, when he went to Liverpool, where he took them from a disillusioned side into being a superpower. Actually, we saw that with Brendan Rodgers, who challenged for the title with Liverpool, took them from 9th place to the brink of the title. So I think that's not going to happen with this group of players, but I do think he's going to get them believing in themselves again, because they look as though they've lost that. And I know he said to you, Kelly, didn't he, that they were thinking too much about some of the things that used to come naturally. And that's why I'm so excited.
In the back of the net, though, Darren.
Oh, they need a lot.
Like,
there are a lot that they need, but they won't be
Xerxes.
able to do any of that until they start believing in their game.
And the way they're going to build up.
And the way they're going to build.
And also, he talked about Mason Mount being a really crucial player, and he obviously wasn't fit enough to start the game, but did make a sort of appearance with, I don't know, 5 minutes to go or so yesterday. But he'll be a player who works in that front three, which he did really well when he was at Chelsea as well. But in terms of it clicking, we saw those games. There's a couple of European games where you think, well, they should be fine there. But they're Premier League fixtures and not straightforward for Manchester United. So they're going to have to learn on the job. They're going to have to learn what their roles are. They're going to have to learn what Amorim wants from them. And they're going to have to do it in really tough situations where they don't have a minute to think on the pitch.
No, but I think the problem with Manchester United as well is the quality of the individual players. Like I said, there's certain things that all professional footballers can do. Pass, you can track back, you can defend. The basics of football, and I think that's been missing at Manchester United. A lot of the players have struggled to do the fundamental basics of playing. Now, the fixtures don't bode well, but what I will say, no pun intended on that first one, but, I think Manchester United fans want to see, it maybe you have to lose some games in order to show that what you can do, to improve. I don't know how to explain it.
No,
Manchester United fans will be patient. They will be patient.
That goes back to what I was saying about, for example, with Arsenal, where I remember when Arteta came in, they were all over the place, and he got them believing in themselves, and the ones who couldn't do it, he systematically moved them out and brought in players that could. I think you're right. There is a short space of time for him to do what he wants, but actually I prefer him to get them to learn on the job, as opposed to, let's rip this season up and let's wait until next season. You're Manchester United, you don't have the time to do that.
The thing is that I think that because Man United were 14th in that when it was all happening and he's coming in, I think these he gives me the impression and the air of somebody that's been, you've got time, just do your stuff. That's his formation. He said when he took the job, that's how I know how to play and that's how we're going to play. I believe once he gets his players in and they start getting it, I think it is a free hit against these teams for the rest of this season, because Man United were in 14th. Yeah. So whatever he gets from the end of this season is only going to stand him in good stead for the summer, because if it does finish well for him, they're going to probably give him whatever he wants.
And in some respects,
so you're saying that anything higher than 14th is a good finish for Manchester United? Top half or what? This season.
This season, I think if Man United can blast themselves up into 6 and all that, it's perfect for what they're doing with a new manager.
So 6?
Depending on who they are. I'd probably
at
give
this
Man
moment
United
in time.
6 easily.
What I will say, though, with Ruben, I think you can see he was processing after the game, you can see he's a thinker, and he's probably thinking, okay, now I know what I need to do. Because I think he's obviously only had a couple of days with the players, but you can kind of see it was almost like an experiment for him, because we know football now has become a little bit more tactically astute. You know, players have to be told to go here, go there, whereas sometimes the players need to take responsibility themselves. But I think Ruben Amorim, I also don't think he realised the magnitude of this job. Because he mentioned it to you, Kel, didn't he? Like, I've done more interviews in this week than I ever did at 4 years at Sporting. That is what it means to be the Man United manager.
And he still looks very cool and very
He does.
calm. And
That will settle a little
Absolutely
bit for him.
I don't think it will, though.
Especially if he has to keep doing it with Ed Sheeran.
Will be intense. And Ed Sheeran was at the great game yesterday.
If he dyes his beard
in
or not.
to join it. Ed Sheeran's apologised as well for kind of barging in on Ruben Amorim's interview.
With Ed's amazing and that, but you can imagine Ruben Amorim must think, what's going on? You know, his first game for United and that happens, but you know something.
He stands pitch side and one of the biggest pop stars on the planet
world.
comes in and
you could see that.
Ruben.
He was fuming. And I love that.
And he's a serious
Welcome
man.
to Manchester United. Welcome to the Premier League.
I love that about him. I love that about him. He's serious business.
Yeah, he is, and he was very serious, and he does have a big job on his hands at Manchester United. But those media commitments that he talked about, they will ease up. He's the new kid on the block, isn't he? And that's
he's at Man United.
We've not really talked about Ipswich, which feels unfair because it was a good performance from them, and they're doing really good things and interesting things under Kieran McKenna. But this is welcome to Manchester United.
It is. I mean, listen, when you're Manchester United, I remember when I go into the Asia Trophy, Premier League Asia Trophy, I think it was 2016-17, with Liverpool. And Jurgen Klopp agreed to do an interview with 4 or 5 of us tabloid journalists who'd come with. And the press officer said, look, can you make it quick? He's got another 55 interviews that he's got to do.
Right.
That's Liverpool, right? Manchester United, it's even more. It's even more intense, and you've got to balance that with restoring them to where they were. So it's going to be difficult for him. But I think, you know, he's 39 years old, he's energetic, he's energised, and I think he's got the capacity to be able to do that. I think he'll pick and choose what he does, but those demands, everybody wants to know about Man United, and I think he's made them box office again.
I just did feel for him when he said, I just want to go and work with my players. I thought, well, good luck with that.